Hey, good morning, good people, wherever you are. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Welcome to my channel on Bible topics. As I always have to say, I welcome all people to stay, whether you're a Buddhist, Hindu, Muslim, atheist, agnostic. You're all welcome to stay. Because I always like to say, we know the Bible does have history behind it. We do know that the text from the Bible is at least several thousand years old. So it is a book to be listened to. Today my topic is Exiled. It's talking about the children of Israel. They was exiled over and over and over in the Bible. They was kicked from their homeland over and over and over. People came to take over their homeland over and over. And when these people took over the whole land, they usually took the Israelites to their country to be their servants. So the topic of the day, exile, specifically dealing with the children of Israel and their exile. And this will give you an idea of who may be the Israelites of today. And I love to say the word Israelites. I don't like to say the J word, if you know what I'm talking about, that J word, because it's used so much. Rarely do we hear the word Israel throughout the Bible. For those who don't know, God never used that J word. He never said it. And the J word is only used about 20 or 30 times in the whole Bible. God always say Israel, the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. God always say Israel, never that J word. Let's jump into our topic for the day, people. All right, here we go. Exile, like you see in my little demonstration here. Some foreign power, some people pointing you out your homeland. And when you are exiled, it may be others with you, but you usually feel alone. All people exile, they don't leave talking and laughing and singing. They leave in a mournful way. So when you're mourning, you basically only focusing on yourself. Even though there may be a lot of people around you, you're just focusing on your troubles. All right, this comes from Ezekiel chapter 4, verse 13. Then the Lord said, thus will the sons of it, like I said, God said, will the sons of Israel, that's what God called them, not the J word, will the sons of Israel eat their bread unclean. So what you eating? Pigeons? Bats? Unclean animals among the nations. Well, I will banish them. Here we go. God say, and when he did when you were in exile, God the one he put a stamp on it. He said, I will banish them. You may think it's that foreign nation that's there, but he said, no, I'm the one who's behind your banishment. So God, when it comes to Israel's exile, usually God is the one behind it. So we can't be saying this man did wrong to me, this man did wrong to me. God sent you to that man or that woman. You may not like that man or woman, and what they're doing is wrong, but God said, I'll take care of them in due season. I'll take care of them in due season. Now we're on Amos chapter 5, verse 27. Therefore, I will make you into an exile. Here we go again. He said, I will make, God talking here, I will make you into an exile. Beyond Damascus. So it's far beyond. So it's far away from your normal walking route, says the Lord, whose name is the God of hosts. Once more, we see right here, God said, I will make you go into exile. He the one who's responsible for it. We think, like I said earlier, we think it's that foreign nation, but behind the scenes, God gave that foreign nation the okay to come and take over. To take over. I will make you go to the beyond of the masses. I'm going to send you far away. Far away. This coming from Ezekiel chapter 12, verse 11. Say, I am a sign to you, as I have done. He said, okay, here we go again. He said, I have done. so it be done to them. They will go into exile. And God taking up a notch. He didn't say just exile. He said, you're going into captivity. Whoever I'm sending you to, they will own you. What people on the planet has been owned? Tell me. What people on this planet has been in, quote, captivity. And they're still in captivity to this very day. I ain't going to say who they are. It's up to you. But what people, they were going to exile and still held in captivity to this very day. Let's move on. Zechariah 14, verse 2. Now, before I go on, we see the Old Testament has a lot of dealing with the people of Israel in captivity. When we get to the New Testament, they already in captivity, so God don't got to keep banging them upside their head. In the New Testament, they already in captivity by a certain world power. Zechariah 14, verse 2. For I will gather, he said, I will gather all the nations against Jerusalem. Okay, so all the people in the place will be against God's people. What people does it seem like the world against to this very day? Against to battle. What people on the planet today seem like they want to keep fighting God's people. And the city will be captured. Okay, will be captured. The houses plundered, taken over. The women ravaged. Okay, what people on the earth have had their women ravished for hundreds of years? The women ravaged and half of the city exiled. See, people still half going to exile. I know, because some people, they still in their homeland to this day. All the Israelites have not been exiled. Some are still there. But the rest of my people will not be cut off from the city. See, some people, like God said, are still there, but some have been exiled. So a lot of the Israelites, they still in their home, but a lot have been exiled. And then, here you go, the main thing. The women will be ravished. What people do you know of on this planet has routinely had their women just taken over? What people? Let's keep going. Next. Jeremiah 22, verse 26. I will hurl you and your mother who bore you. Hurl means, here's an example. I have a rock right here. Here's my little rock. If I hurl the rock, I take it in my hand and toss it away over here. That's what hurl. That's what I mean by hurl. I took the rock and I threw it. So God said, I'm going to throw you out your homeland. I will hurl you and your mother who bore you into another country where you were not born. And there you will die. Okay, Lord have mercy. Step 1. Another country. Step 2. You were not born there. Step 3. You will die there. Here we go again, people. There's a certain group of people, not naming no names, certain group of people who God hurled out their homeland, you and your mother who bore you, into another country. He didn't say a nearby nation. No, he said another country where you were not born. So you was born here, but I'm going to take you there, and there you will die. Not just that person, hey, their descendants too. What people who you know who fit number 1, number 2, and number 3. It's up to you to figure that out. What people on this planet to this day, and people don't like to admit it, but God, he going to have his way. They don't want to admit it. The Gentiles, definitely the Gentiles, they're not going to admit who these people are. They'll talk about everybody else, the J word, they'll do that J word all over the place, but they will never ever admit who really are, who fits the Bible prophecy for the Israelites. Who fit it? Whether they like it or not, who fits those prophecies? Let's keep going on for our exile. Jeremiah 22, verse 10. Do not weep for the dead. Okay, don't cry for the people who got thrown off that ship. The dead people got thrown off that ship. Or mourn for him. Don't cry for the person who died in the ship. Don't cry for that person. But weep continually for those who goes away. Okay, there we go. Cry for them who definitely going away. For he will never return. Oh, my Lord. What people do you know of on this planet was sent to a land and never returned to the homeland or see his native land? What people who you know of, not naming no names, who we know. For he will never return or see his native land. What people, like I said, the Gentiles, they will never admit it. But God said, those people will never see their homeland. When I exile you, you're not going back. You're not going back. And people right now are saying, let's go here. We're going to Israel. We're going to Israel. How can they fit Bible property? And God said, you're never going back. Until he come back, of course. But on your own power, you're going to stay in that native land, that Gentile nation, that country I exiled you to. You ain't coming back. You're going to stay there. For he will never return or see his native land. Like I said, the Gentiles did. It's hard for them to admit to this. They won't preach about nothing like this. I study a lot of. I look at a lot of preachers on the internet. They ain't gonna preach about the exiles. They'll never talk about this. They'll talk about everything else. They're gonna talk about them exiles. Next. Now we're in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. One of the most important scriptures in the Bible, letting you know about the Israelites, their blessing and their curse. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again. Now we know the people of Israel in the Bible, they left Egypt, but they didn't go back. And you know, when God talks about prophecy, he only going to say things that you know about. He ain't going to tell you about he ain't going to tell you about this place and that place and you don't even know about it. He relates prophecy to things that you had experienced. So he's being symbolic here. And the Lord will bring thee into Egypt with, here we go again, ships. Now before they made that Suez Canal, you can look on your map, now with the Suez Canal there, but before the Suez Canal, Israel was a part of Africa. It was directly connected to Africa. So they didn't need no ships there. For instance, when Moses left Egypt, they ain't had no boats for them millions of people. They walked. Because at that time, Egypt and Israel were connected. There was no Suez Canal back then to break it up and say, oh, it's separate now. It's man-made separate, but not divine or natural separation. And that time of Moses and the time of these people here in the Bible, Egypt and Israel was connected to Africa. So God said, ships. What people do you know in this world who was taken to, and I know what he mean by Egypt, because remember, Egypt was a world power then, relatively speaking, because we ain't know it, but it was a major power. Egypt was a major power. So God basically saying, I'm going to bring you into a nation that's a major power. Okay, the Lord have mercy. Remember, Egypt was a major power. God said, I'm going to send you to the modern Egypt that is a world power. And I'm going to take you there with ships. Because I said, back in that biblical days, they didn't need no ships to go to Egypt. And you saw that when you read the Bible. When Solomon was dealing with Egypt, he went to Egypt. When David dealt with Egypt, he went to Egypt. When Jeremiah dealt with Egypt, they went to Egypt. They walked. They didn't need no ships. So with ships, by the way, wherefore I spoke unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. Oh, there we go. Lord have mercy. There's that prophecy again. That means the people will never see their homeland again. They won't even sit there if even forget about it. They won't even know it's their homeland. to a point. If you never saw it, you just know it in words. Many of them never went there. So thou shalt not see it no more. You ain't going to see your nation no more. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. And no man shall buy you. And what he mean by man, he's not talking about the Gentiles. When he said man, he's talking about his own Israelites. When I send you to this country, no Israelite will buy you, because you're going to be powerless. Here we go again. It's harm the Gentiles. It hurt them to their heart to admit the truth. But Jesus, he dealt with the truth. But the Gentiles, they have a trouble with the truth. What people do you know on the planet who allowed the day fit this prophecy to a T? They was brought to the modern Egypt with ships. When they got to Egypt, they never went back to their homeland again. People say go back to your homeland, but you brought me here. If you want me to go back to the homeland, you take me there. So you won't see it again. So what people on the planet fit that? Not saying no names, but I said the Gentiles, it hurt them to the heart to admit who this may be. It hurt them to their heart. Because they had trip. It hurt them to their heart to admit to the truth. But God want to take care of it. He going to take care of it soon. All right, so let's go on. We're in Isaiah chapter 5, verse 13. Like I said, the Old Testament, because at that time, the Israelites, most of the time, they was their own nation. When they got to the New Testament, another power took care of them. So God didn't have to keep talking about no exiles then. He didn't have to talk about no exile. But he did talk about it sometimes, because Jesus said they're going to come and take over the city and you're going to be thrown out. Isaiah 5:13. Therefore, my people go into exile again for their lack of knowledge. Oh, my Lord. Here we go. Here we go right here. I'm going to get this to the end. For their lack of knowledge. Now, I did some research, but I ain't going to throw no people under the bus. I ain't going to throw no group of people under the bus. I'm not going to say nothing. But he said, where they go, they will lack knowledge. Think of the point today, this people. What people on the planet do you know of seem to be behind everybody, even in knowledge? What people are behind? With knowledge and knowing technology, knowing chemistry, physics, they still have good people. They have some of their race participating, but on average, they still behind. They lack knowledge. And their honorable men were famished. So your strong men going to be demolished. What people has that happen to? And their multitude is parched with thirst. You're going to work so hard out in that field, you're going to be thirsty all day. Who does this prophecy fit? Like I said, the Gentiles, it hurt them to their heart to admit it. Those Gentiles, it hurt them to their heart. But prophecy is prophecy. What people that you know routinely lack knowledge. They got some smart people in that group, but as a whole, they seem to lack knowledge. They're not the engineers. They're not when they're an engineer, they're underrepresented as an engineer. When they're a doctor, they still underrepresented as a doctor. When they're a lawyer, they still represented lowly. When they're a CEO of a company, they still have poor representation because their group, according to God, lacks knowledge. Who does this prophecy fit to a T? Coming from Daniel chapter 9, verse 7. And we know most of Daniel things deal with prophecy. His book is heavy on prophecy. Righteousness belongs to you, O Lord, but to us open shame, as it is this day. To this very day we live a life of shame. We're getting embarrassed, we're getting mocked, we get teased. To the men of Judah, the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and all Israel, those who are nearby and those who are far away. And, I mean right there, far away and all the countries to which you have driven them. Remember, God, he said, God has driven them to those countries. The invaders may think they're taking over, but God sent the invaders there because of their unfaithful deeds which they have committed against you. The main deed that the people that God has banished, they can't keep this special day right here. And the land that they have been banished to, they have forgotten about this important day right here. And God promised you, if you just keep this day, you're inviting blessings. But the people who God has banished, they don't keep it. They take the Gentile day and say, I'm going to serve God on it. The Gentiles can serve God whenever he wants. They said that in the New Testament. Paul and the other apostles, they were saying, what do the Gentiles need to do? They said, no, we don't have to circumcise them. They don't have to eat the food that we eat. They don't even have to serve God on the day that we serve him. But hold up, the people of Israel, God said, you will serve me on the Sabbath day. The Gentiles don't got to do it. Some of them do it, but they don't have to do it. That's why the children of Israel suffer to this very day, because they cannot keep the Sabbath. They keep the Gentiles' days, which is not the day that God said you will keep. All right. We're in Ezekiel chapter 39, verse 28. Then they will know that I am the Lord their God. So he's talking to Israel now. Their God. Because I made them go into exile. He said, I made them go into exile among the nations. See? There's your clue right there. He said nations. Not nation. Nations. Here's the question I want to ask you. What people on this planet who's alive today have been taken over by many nations? They have been exiled to many nations. Remember, when you exile, that means you don't go there on your own. You don't go there and say, no. Exile means they come and take you and put you there. If a person decides to go to the nation on their own, you're not an exile because you chose to go to that nation. If you exile, God said, he said right here, I made them go into exile among the nations. And remember, in earlier verses, God said, I will drive you out your homeland. So, to the nations, not one nation, what people on this planet that we know today have been exiled, driven, forced to go to nations. Not nations, nations. But I'm saying it again, I'm going to say it over and over, people. The Gentiles have trouble admitting it. It hurt them to their heart, admit who may truly be Israel. It hurt them to their heart. They can't admit it. All right, back to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 36 to 46. The Lord will exile you and your king. So, both of you going, you and your king, to a nation unknown. Okay, unknown to you and your ancestors. Now, here we go. Most of the Israelite exile in the Bible, they knew those nations. They knew ancient Rome before Rome got there. They heard about Rome. They heard about the Syrians before the Syrians came. They knew about Greek before the Greeks got there. They knew who the Greeks were. But this time God said, you're not going to know the nation. You don't know them. You don't have no dealing with them. What people on the earth, when they met them people, didn't know nothing about them. They didn't know nothing. The Lord will exile you and your king to a nation unknown to you and your ancestors. See, your ancestors, the Israelites' ancestors, they knew about Babylon. The Israelites' ancestors, they knew about Rome. They knew about Greek. They knew about Assyria. and on and on and on. They knew about them nations when they came over and took over. But here God said, unknown nations, you and your ancestors didn't know about them people. We're people who just fit on the planet. There in exile, you will worship gods of wood and stone to this very day. Even if you put a picture up on a wall, which most of us do. Here's a picture on the wall. Here's your picture on the wall with a figure in there. The paper is made of wood. So I'm taking two. God is a wood. That's wood. It don't gotta be the wood that you think of, that you cut the tree down. No, the paper is made of wood. The frame, usually, before we got modernized, you know what modernized, because now we can use plastic, fiberglass. But originally, when we first came to this nation, when we first came to the nation of exile, when you had a picture frame, like in the 1920s, 1910s, was made of wood. So that's part one. So now I'm giving you an idea. It don't gotta be no little idol. Because he said, you will worship gods of wood and stone. And in that picture, they may have a picture of a so-called God. In that picture, they may have a so-called God in that picture. There's God right there. You know what I'm talking about. I ain't got to say the name of that image and those multiple pictures. But they said that's God. So you respect that picture. Wood and stone. You will become an object of horror. Ridicule. Okay. Who getting horror means what people treated disrespectfully. What people is ridicule. And what people is mockery among all the nations. He didn't say one nation. All the nations to which the Lord will send you. All of them will be an object of horror. They teasing you. They say you got your lips this way. Your nose this way. Your eyes this way. Your skin tone this way. Object of horror, ridicule. We're going to insult you, like I said. We're going to have black face. This face, that face, yellow face, green. We're going to have this face to tease you. And mockery, we're going to call you all types of names. I'm going to say some of them names. We're going to call you all types of names. And you know, good people, the people who they say are the, quote, children of God, they don't get mocked with different names. I never heard them. Or if they do, in the mafia time, they call them a certain name. But it's a certain people who live on this planet today. Their names change every 50 years. At least every 50 years, they give it a different name. You will plant much, but harvest little. So you're going to plant somebody's food, but the food won't be your food. For locusts will eat your crops. Locusts and other Lord vermin will eat the crops, but you're not getting the food. You will plant vineyards and care for them, but you will not drink wine or eat the grapes, for worms will destroy them. This is basically saying you will plant vineyards, but you won't own it. You won't own it, but you will not drink the wine or eat the grapes, for worms will destroy the vine. So the worms will own it. It can be other people who worms, but you won't own that vineyard. That's the main thing. You're not going to own it. You will grow olive trees throughout your land, but you will never use the olive oil, for the fruit will drop before it ripens. Once more, but basically saying you will grow, but you won't own it. That's the main thing. You will not own it. You will have sons and daughters, but you will lose them, for they will be led away into captivity. Well, okay, what people on the earth does this fit? Okay, I'll get this a different color. What people on the earth does this fit? You will have sons and daughters, but you will lose them, for they will be led away into captivity. That means they go to another slave owner. The first slave owner was Mr. Jackson. Mr. Jackson sold you to Mr. Smith. So your son and daughter will be led away into captivity. They got a new slave owner. But people on the planet does that fit? The people who said now, I never heard that son. The people who say they're the children of God now, I never heard nobody saying your son and your daughter was laid away into captivity and sold to somebody else. I never heard nobody like that. They love to say a certain nation killed a lot of them. I ain't gonna say no names. They love to say a certain nation killed millions of my people. But that's the only thing we hear about them. That nation and nothing else. Swarms of insects will destroy your trees and crops. The fauna, this is the most important one. The fauna living among you will become stronger and stronger, and you will become weaker and weaker. We said now. What people, while you become weak and weak, what people, we said today, we see certain people, certain foreigners move into that neighborhood, and those foreigners take over. They get better for the most part. They get better and better, but you get weaker and weaker. What people on the planet that this fit? Like I said, it hurt the Gentiles to admit it. They'll never admit to this. Like I said, the stuff I'm going over now, Gentiles don't go over this. Like I said, they go over everything else, but they will not go over these prophecies about the children of Israel going into exile. I never once heard this. So who does this prophecy seem to fit to a T? Who does it fit? Who? Next. That's it, my good people. Thank you for stopping by. As this man show, when you're on exile, your spirit is down, down, down. Heavenly Father, thank you for this lesson on the children of Israel being exiled. All throughout the Bible, when it came to exile, you ain't talking about the other nations. Your focus was on Israel, because they could not keep your laws and commandments. They could not even keep the main one, the Sabbath day. If they kept the Sabbath day, everything else would have been great for them. Thank you for this lesson in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Good people, thank you for stopping by. Till the next time, peace.